haven't given you reason yet. I haven't earned that. And I'm confident that the next little bit we're going to spend together, that I want to encourage you towards this model where I'm frequently doing deals, great deals with real estate agents, and I want to build a case for why it's possible, some of the deals that I do, and then how you can do it too. So that's my goal. I'd be amiss to not say, let's see, do I have to stand on this side for it to work? I would be amiss to not say thank you, Jim. Jim, it takes a lot of work to do stuff like this. So I am thankful. I am thankful for you. Truly, truly. I am also thankful for a lot of the people in these photos. Chuck might still be outside. No, he's right over here. Chuck, thank you. I'm going to cry again. What you did, a lot of people got a lot of things from your talk. You know what I got? It's the idea of belief. And you want to know how many times I borrow belief from other people? Belief from people like Bill Cook, please stand up. Leon Johnson, please stand up. People like these, my mentors, Jim, have believed in me when I didn't fully have the belief in myself. So thank you. I have had the privilege, I'm going to keep pointing toward the screen, ain't I? I am thankful to stand on the shoulders of people like John Schaub, David Tilney, Leon Johnson, Bill Cook, and Peter Fortunato. I am thankful for that. And I'd be amiss to not say that. A little bit about myself. I'm based out of New Orleans, Louisiana, New Orleans. So, yes, we're still recovering from Mardi Gras. So, I've been in this business for 10 years. So first of all, I'm not a licensed agent. Let me get that out of the way. But I've been in this business. I started off as a flipper, and then I grew the largest wholesaling company in the suburbs of New Orleans. And so you know what? I get it. The flipping, I'm getting the quick cash from the wholesale deals. I sometimes say I still relapse and still do them from time to time, but I'm predominantly a buy and hold landlord these days. I've also had the pleasure at the very top, I started a investor meetup, and so I ran that. I actually just passed it on this past December, so I feel like a part of my, baby that helped grow is succeeding on its own. I also have the privilege of being on the radio each weekend, answering live call-in questions for the public, and it keeps me on my toes every Saturday. This was actually just this last Saturday. We did it at the Home and Garden show in New Orleans, and then I've had the privilege of educating agents. These are 2 articles. For years, I wrote a magazine article for agents teaching them how to deal with motivated sellers, complicated situations, and creative financing. And so, although I'm not an agent myself, I've done a ton of educating with them. And I'm excited today, to see that there's, almost 40% of this room is licensed. Although my talk today is not about you working with investors, I do believe you can take some things from it. I'm predominantly speaking to investors and how to do deals with agents. But that's a little bit about me. So, these here are numerous deals that I've done with agents. So let's see. This one here, stopped a foreclosure, bought it subject to the loan. This one here got a deep discount cash-wise, So this one I bought it for $175. It was worth $415. Needed $60 in work. This one, 30-year seller financing, no balloon. 0 to the seller. An agent was still involved. Subject to 3.6% loan, 2010 build. Zero down to the seller, 0% interest on this property. How many of you guys would want to do deals like that, right? Right, it's the things that we dream about, right? Do you need a partner? I'm always looking for money. So this is what I want to talk to you about, okay? So, with that being said, I do not get my deals that I do with agents by shopping on the MLS. I do not go in the MLS and say, let me make a list of all the 90 plus days, listed days on market properties. I do not go and derive a list of all the ones that say succession property, motivated seller, open to all offers. That is not what I do. I also do not present an LOI saying I will buy your property subject to the loan. This is an LOI that was presented to an agent friend and also an investor friend proposing seller finance on their listing. It was a flip that he had. And I get calls about this all day long, by the way, from agents. Hey, what is this? All this stuff. So that's not how I do it, although that's what many people think. You see, the reality is that most of you, let's address the elephant in the room, most of you think that if a property, if a lead, if a deal is with an agent, it is no longer a deal, right? What has the narrative been? Well, if it's with an agent, by the time it's with them, it's no longer a deal. Or they're just going to get in the way. Or I can't structure a creative deal because they don't know what they're doing and they're just going to mess it up. I've been around this industry for 10 years and running the RIA, I heard that left and right. Anyone heard that before? There is a great divide between agents and investors, and I am on a hell-bent mission to decrease it through education and relationships, because the reality is we both bring value to the marketplace, truly. And so part of the thing is I have to always address the elephant in the room is some of you will never get to do my business model because you got stinking thinking up here, right? You've got this scarcity mindset of the other person. You're going to call them names. You're going to do whatever. You're going to... Should I say that? Okay. Whenever the verdicts came out with the antitrust law, I told people left and right, I said, watch what you say. Why? Because someone who is an ally of yours, who is an agent, is listening. They're listening. And you want to know how you kill relationships? It's with your words. That's one of the ways, right? Be very careful, regardless of what your opinions are with that. But obviously, say it carefully. Hold on. Shift happens. I grew up with a lisp, so I have to be careful. Happens to me with hoarder houses, too. I have to say that, otherwise it sounds like whorehouses. But anyway, I guess we buy those, too. Whatever applies. The reality here is the market is changing. Whatever market you're in, and we have people nationwide in this room, but I'm down in New Orleans where we have hit 2 major lists of the top 50 cities. We're at the bottom of both. We're having a major insurance crisis in New Orleans right now. If you follow me on social media, I've given you case studies on how I've bought properties subject to the loan that were $1,100 a month, PITI, that are currently at $2,100 a month, only because of insurance increases. So I particularly am facing a huge opportunity in my backyard, but I still have to swim while I solve problems, right? I digress. There's things happening in the marketplace. Virginia, I had dinner with some of my really close friends here in Virginia, and we were talking about the new legislation that's happening in Virginia, the various things that the different cities are facing. Not only just economic, but various things. So you know what? There's a lot of big names in the industry. When I was doing volume, direct-to-seller volume, I knew a lot of the big players. I would go pay tens of thousands of dollars to be in masterminds with them. And you know what? They're spending their overhead. I had friends, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month being spent in marketing and payroll. You want to know how many of them are still in the business right now? There's a lot of them getting out. There's a lot of them facing big issues. So when a market shifts, your business needs to pivot with it. My hope is to explain to you the model that I go after, a referral-based business, is recession-proof. I would argue that it is. It's low overhead, right? How many of you guys well, don't answer this, but I know a lot of you were spending money. I did too. In New Orleans, it's not a very saturated market. I was spending $7,500 a month on marketing, getting in front of sellers left and right. So I had to do deals just to pay my overhead, not just for the benefits of the deal, right? That's not sustainable, and we're seeing that. So I want to prove a point to you. So in order to do that, Amanda, do you mind coming up? And can I get one more volunteer? Tamara, do you mind come join? Actually, remind me again. I want to make sure I get it right. Delita. Okay, excellent. So I want to prove a point to you. So ladies, here we go. I've got two scenarios here. Who here has scoped out that I might have brought some books with me? The TSA checked them. So I brought 30 books with me all the way from New Orleans, from my library. So they're not, some of them are new, a lot of them are used. But both of you have been given directions on there. I like to read a lot. Who likes to read? If you know me, I have 2,500 plus books at home. When I started dating someone serious, I said, honey, both me and the books are a package deal. So with that being said, imagine I'm looking for a book to buy. Both of you ladies, I'm going to task you to help me to find them, okay? So if you don't mind, this right here, this big stack of books, is the inventory in which you're going to look for based on the request I gave you, okay? So if you want to go ahead, take a look. You have instructions on there. We'll go through them. So they're looking at 30 books. They're going to use that in which to look for what I've given them direction. I'm going to talk to you about that direction, but ultimately here, I want to prove a point to you guys, because at the end of the day, I have some beef to pick with you. You and I don't know it, but we're about to square up. But you can take me out of New Orleans, but you can't the New Orleans out of me, right? So at the end of the day, I love investors. I love coming to conferences like this, right? I got the privilege of coming here last year as an attendee to spend time with Adam and Leon as they were sharing and things like that. And so ultimately, I have enjoyed getting to meet a lot of you. And there's a lot of you I don't know, and that's my fault. I would love the chance to get to know you. And so ladies, if you want to go ahead and pick what you think applies, and then bring it to me. For you, one. So come on over here. All right, so I already know whose book you have. So let's see this. So let's go ahead. I'm going to pull on up here because you were situation scenario number 1. It says, I have decided in 2024 that this is the year I want to grow more towards financial independence. I am looking for a book about money. Can you help me? Does that sound like something we've said before? Like, hey, this is on my, to-do growth list. So which book did you bring me? Okay, so talking to strangers. All right, as my friend Brent says, talk to people, right? So Adam talked about it. You got to get in front of people. Why did you pick that for a book about money?
Well, I'm an introvert,
so. Not anymore. Yeah. So you're a vert. Yes. Okay. Absolutely. Okay. So question for you. For a book about money, talking to people for sure can lead to it. Do you think that would directly start making me money?
Well, I guess it depends on what you mean by directly, but based on DealMaker, yeah.
It's a good philosophy. I agree. Yes, that's a good point. So she said, based on DealMaker, maybe not directly, but it's a big part to it. Who would agree? Talking to people, absolutely. So I agree with you. So ultimately, though, I failed you because, this is what the second one says, right? We're going to go through that one. You'll be able to find them. All right. Hold your thought there. So let's skip here. Wait, no, we'll come on back over here. So hold your thought there, and I'm going to give you some thoughts on that one. So go ahead. Here we have, I am starting a book club. This is the direction I gave her. This month we are focusing on mental toughness. Here are the 2 books we are reading. Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins and 75 Hard by Andy Frisella. Can you help me?
I actually picked that book.
So excellent. So she said, did you say you?
Every copy.
Go take a look. Go grab them. So on the very bottom of hers, I said, give me every copy that you can find of this. So she's going to go in there and find. There are multiple copies of those. Okay? Now, Leith, I did you a disservice because I gave you a very broad topic, didn't I? A book about money, right? And what is going to be your definition of that, your interpretation of that, is going to be wide. She said talking to people. So if you look on there, I've got various ones on there that say, look, that there is multiple opportunities for you to say, oh, this applies to money, various things, right?
Is she going to talk?
Just a little bit more.
Okay.
Yep. So who thinks that I set Amanda up better? Do you agree? So, with Delitha, I have, just give me a book about money, right? Yeah, it's pretty vague, right? I'm saying, hey, we're specifically reading these 2 books. Get me every copy of it. Because we got a book club, right? Does that make sense? No? Look, it's okay. It's okay. So look, at the end of the day, let's give it a round of applause for the 2. So you can take one. You can have that book if you would like to pick one. Thank you. No, you're good. Okay. So in essence, I was going to put this just as a slide, but I said, you know what? It's going to help to see it, right? Maybe that's just how my brain works, right? So again, you're going to get your book in a second. So scenario number 1, this is not a clear message, right? It was too vague. And when something is vague, it leaves it up for interpretation, and good luck. Because I don't know about you, I buy stuff off of Facebook Marketplace, and there's a lot of vague interpretations of new, good condition, various things like that. If this message is still up, it's still available. Is it available? Is it available? But let me say this. I'm gonna bother some of you because some of you have it on your shirt, your business card, and like your car. Is this a clear message? Why? Because it's too vague and is left up for interpretation. So I love you, investors, but I have grown into being an anti-we buy houses type of investor. Why? Because at the end of the day, if I say, we buy houses, which I did. Funny fact, when I first got started in the business and I saw all the we buy houses sign, I went and asked a friend, I said, do they all work together for the same company? They just have different salespeople lines or something? No, I learned that they didn't. This is not a clear message. It's not. Because at the end of the day, now you're leaving it up to someone else to interpret when to pick the phone up to call you. So I see myself as a solutions-based investor. Which, let's be honest, not everyone in this room might, I think a lot of you are, but there's investors who are not that. They just want a certain type of property, and they don't really care about going direct to seller with it. They just want a turnkey property, this area, just give it to me, I'm good to go. But no, I am desperately trying to find, as Adam talked about, people that I can help. And I want to leave them better than I find them, right? So then when I tell someone I buy houses, and then they're like, well, you want to buy my house? How much are you going to pay? Right? If it's $1 million, I'll be interested, right? That's not clear. That's not clear, my friends. We can do better. So then is this a clear message? Go find 75 Hard, go find, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. That's very clear. Also, I said, bring me everyone that fits this description. So if you give a clear description, and if you have capacity, like for example, in my little fictitious example, it was a book club, right? Bring me every copy you could, right? Think about this if you can give a clear message. So I added in here, anyone heard of like blind book dates before? It's a thing on Pinterest, whatever. And if you don't know what Pinterest is, ask someone under 30 next to you what it means. They'll explain. Love y'all. I have a book on there. So it's like this. It says, think a book on mental toughness. Okay? So what did I say? It's a book club, and we were studying. Amanda, do you mind opening this for me? Thank you. I know, just rip it open. That actually, we just were painting in my kitchen, so that's the drip paper. So not some fancy. So it's a book on mental toughness. Is that 75 hard or can't hurt me? No, it's Carry On Warrior. It's a book about by Glennon Doyle, right? So you can sit back down. I will take this back. But it's a book on mental toughness, but it's not what I'm looking for. So when I say we buy houses, well, what if they hear that their neighbor's wanting to sell? Are they going to call me? Maybe. How many of you guys have gotten someone that sent you a lead that was not your ideal candidate? Right. Well, yes, I buy houses, but not that type of house, So here's what's critical. Same thing with real estate agents. You tell them you're looking for properties, and they say, hey, I just took $10,000 off my listing. You should check it out. Or, hey, I have a turnkey triplex in a good area. I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for. But thank you. Keep me in mind. So the point I wanted to make with the blind book dates is when you make blind offers on the MLS, meaning you throw it against the MLS and you're making low cash offers, you're making subject to seller finance offers, you have no idea if they're a good fit for you. It was you might have a general consensus, the mental toughness. You have no idea if it's directly a good fit for you. Why? I tell people all the time, if there's no problem for me to solve here, there's no reason for me to be involved. Love you, but I will refer you out. I tell that to sellers all the time. That's not how you get it. My source of deals does not come from the MLS, although some of them are on the MLS. The source of my deals comes through my relationships that I build with agents. And because I have a clear message, there's no guessing involved, they frequently bring me leads that I can then structure deals with and solve problems with. Because as a solutions-based investor, that's my job. I've said those words, solutions-based investor, because for the longest time I would go and network in rooms with like realtors and lenders and all that, and they'd all have their little name tag, and I didn't know what to put on it. And I didn't want to put, Courtney, Fricke, investor. That just felt like it didn't mean, like it didn't fully explain what we do. And so one time, like actually a few months ago, I had this aha moment. I said, I'm not just, because I was going to think like foreclosure preventionist. I was like, yeah, but, that's not enough. Creative real estate investor. I love agents, but like they'll tell me that, because you wholesale, you're a creative investor. I was like, I wouldn't say, okay. Like I wouldn't necessarily call that creative investing, right? Like it wasn't clear. Solutions-based investing. So I got a name tag, it says Courtney Fricke, solutions-based investor. And then I follow up with, do you know anyone that has a problem that I can help? Right? So I believe that my role in the marketplace is to find as many sellers as I possibly can that have a problem that needs solving, that they're facing foreclosure, that they inherited a property that they do not want, that they cannot afford to keep up, that they want to exit the business of being a landlord, but they're going to have a tremendous tax liability, and they need some form, some solution to escape that and get some freedom and peace back in their life. Right? Plenty of other scenarios we can talk through here. That is what I believe my role is, and I believe a lot of you join me in that belief. That is your role. in your market, in your backyard. But you want to know what? This is how I view my relationship with agents. In this picture, they're in a field next to some woods. If a little girl went missing and they did not have enough manpower to go look for her, many times they'll call a search party, right? Anyone here ever helped with one? I've helped on a few of them. Bless you, truly. Because at the end of the day, they do that to multiply their efforts. So then what they're going to do is the ringleader is going to say, hey, this is what her name is. This is what she was last seen wearing. This is where we saw her. This is where she might have been going, right? And then they're going to give you clear direction. If you find her, call the ringleader's number here. Come to the tent here, right? Because at the end of the day, they're going to give you clear direction to then go out and hunt and search. My belief around doing deals with real estate agents is this picture. It's where I'm the ringleader saying, hey, this is exactly the type of sellers I am looking for. It is my duty to find as many as I possibly can and help them to stop their foreclosure, to help them with an unwanted probate property, to help them exit the business without a heavy tax consequence or to bear that load. Maybe they're just a tired landlord and they just want to be done with it. I'm going to sympathize and then also provide a solution. That is my role. So I'm going to tell them exactly what it looks like. I'm going to tell them some of the stories of how I've met a man on a Tuesday who was facing tax foreclosure, property tax foreclosure that Friday, and he had never done a transaction in his life as a civilian that didn't take 45 days. And I said, well, it ain't going to be fun, but we're going to try to close it by Friday, and we did. And he's like, I didn't know this is possible. How many times have I helped people and they said, I didn't know someone like you existed? How many people don't know that you could be a solution to their problem, who are struggling to make their mortgage payments, who are going through a divorce and now they're behind on their payments, or they need to sell and it's difficult to do so without having to bring money to the table? I paint a picture and I recruit agents left and right who I have a similar core value with, right? Or people, they're allies, where we mutually want to see each other benefit. And then I say, when you find them, bring them to me. And I will do everything in my power to help them. That is your role, my friends. And I'm sorry, but a lot of you are only telling them, we buy houses. I sling houses all day long as a real estate agent. I help people buy and sell. What do you mean, those houses? No. Get clear. And let me tell you how I do that. But before I do, I have this belief that apart from interference, such as great and timely direct-to-seller marketing, remember I did a ton of that. Adam, who here just got a lot of nuggets from Adam? We got to give him his kudos. I love it. You guys don't understand. Adam knows what he's talking about. When I was growing in volume, I sought Adam out to learn from him. Because as I was going direct to seller, man, spending all this money on marketing, you gotta track it, make sure you cut off what doesn't work after a period of time. All these things. Stay up with compliance, right? So apart from great and timely direct to seller marketing, apart from a strong top-of-mind branding, Leon does a fantastic job at this. Although he's not a social media guy, people in town know to call him because he can handle, he can solve a lot of problems, right? Maybe you're known as the house buyer in town, right, who can solve problems. And so people call you, I don't know, but I don't know, maybe you can help here, right? Or the third one, a personal word of mouth referral. I don't know, maybe, Johnny said you might be able to help me. I don't know, but I don't know what all you do, but can you help me with, I got this situation going on. So apart from one of these three or a mixture of them, I believe that motivated sellers are trained by society to go to agents first. Right? You got a house you need to sell. What do? Contact, your cousin or the girl who just left her multi-level marketing group thing from high school who reaches out, oh, now I'm a realtor, right? All these things, right? You've got, all of us know 100 of them, and they're everywhere from part-time to top producing, right? I believe that motivated sellers do not live just in the off-market realm. And if I fully believe that it is a part of my duty, that part of the value I bring to the marketplace is to solve problems, then if I'm neglecting them on the MLS with agents, then I'm neglecting. NAR came out with a statistic that said 91% of transactions happen with real estate agents. As someone who went direct to seller, you're chasing 9%. Now, again, I don't love the method of throwing things against the wall on the MLS, right? So what I do is I give a very clear, so this here's my buy box. You can take, by the way, I'm from Louisiana, and if you don't know, we have Napoleonic law, and it's kind of one of those things like in New Orleans, we're allowed to take alcohol to go, and I didn't know until I moved away that that's not allowed. Succession properties, every time I give this talk, they say, what's a success? It's a probate property. That's our weird Napoleonic law. So this is my buy box. So what do? I get in front of agents, and I send them this. And I say, hey, the first two, you can easily set me up on a quick email campaign, right? That's not what I want. What I want is the last one. So then I tell them stories. I sell them on the stories of the people I have helped. Borrow my stories if you're new. Leon's got a lot. Borrow his. He's going to tell a whole bunch of them in a minute. Say, hey, for example, if you've got a seller who's struggling to make both payments on their mortgage, and you put it on the market, and it's going to take a while for it to sell because, days on markets are growing right now. And if you need a solution, give me a call. Hey, if you have any listings that's been sitting for a while, and if they're open to all options, give me a call. Because plenty of times I've been able to find a solution that might work for all parties, and I'm always going to make sure you get paid. People tune in to one station and one station only. What is it? What's in it for me? I have a lot of hungry agents in my market right now because commissions are few and far between. And maybe that's like in your market as well. Our average days on market, I haven't looked at it in a while. I should have. It's over 70 days on market. Which some people, if you've been in this business for a minute, you say, that's an average. That's average. But for agents who were used to quick commissions checks, you want to know what it looks like? I sat in a room about this large, training a whole bunch of agents, and unbeknownst to me, at the end, one of them gets a microphone, and he shares how in days I stopped a foreclosure for one of his clients after 2 buyers walked away. And then I showed up, he was like, this thing's going, we're not going to be able to do this thing. I stop a foreclosure. And he said, man, Courtney was great to work with. And I'm like, I'm sitting over here, thank you, And then his broker leans over, grabs the microphone and goes, and Courtney gets you paid in a room full of agents. You want to know what I walked away with? A whole bunch of leads. Hey, can you help me on this listing? Hey, where's your number? Can I call you? I've got 3 I need to talk to you about after this. Can we go have coffee? I said, we can go have lunch. I'm like, the reality here is I've been able to train agents with what to go look at for me, right? To go look for. They're spending money marketing. They're working in their sphere of influence. And not every one of them is an ideal fit for the market, for the retail market. And so by having a clear message and staying in front of them, I frequently get deals, but each time I meet one, I send them this. And I say, hey, call me. Hey, call me if you have anything. Right? Very clear. Very clear that the bottom is what I'm most concerned with. So then I lead the conversation. So I believe in something called conversation leadership, meaning I want to bring us somewhere. Just like today, I want to bring us to a point. And so with agents, these are the three things that I'm focused on with them. So apart from there needs to be a problem, right? Because we established that. If there's no problem, there's no reason for me to be here. 3 requirements I need to structure a deal. First one, why are they selling? What is the problem? Tell me the ownership story too. Number 2, what are they trying to accomplish? What value drivers do they have? You know, I did a deal with a woman facing foreclosure, but it was not a bank loan. It was an installment sale. So she had bought it, moved into it, and her ex-father-in-law financed it to her. You know, it's always complicated. So she got behind on payments. So she's losing it. And I was in her front yard talking with her. And there was a light bulb moment that clicked. She had 5 kids. And she said, oh my gosh, there's 45 days left of school. I'm going to foreclosure here really soon, right? If we put it, so there was a broker there. If we put it on the market, who knows how fast or how slow it might go. And if I sell it quickly, which is what I need, right, the foreclosure, tomorrow, I'm going to have to drive those 5 kids around to 5 different schools from wherever we end up. And she sat there and she started crying with the stress of that, right? And so she said, do you think people will let me live in the house afterwards if I put it on the market? I said, there's always a possibility. Let me amend my offer. I will buy this from you, and I will allow you to stay in the property for 2 months. Now, we're going to put some things in there because, look, my shirt says how you do real estate matters. It's not just how you treat people, but it's also how do you structure your deals, the technical side, right? And so, yeah, we did some paperwork technically to build protections and goodwill on both sides, right? That was the value driver she had. It was not price. Leon has a great quote. Great quote. You want to say it, Leon? Oh, he said, say it now, please. He said, the relief from distress. The relief from distress is far greater than price. The rewards, yes. You see, I told you to say it. Say it again, please. The relief from distress carries rewards far greater than price or terms. Did she care about price in that moment? No. Her value driver was driving her kids around. Can I have somewhere centrally that we can stay in the system we're in, and then in summer we can reorient our lives to a new system? You want to know the secret sauce to doing creative deals? Figure out number 2. Get good at asking questions, and if you can figure out what they value. Most of y'all think she does deals with agents. How does she know what people value? I walked into, I think this next slide's going to show you. No, maybe not. I walked into a house, an agent called me. She said, hey, I've got a Courtney deal. And so as soon as she said that, I smiled as wide as the Mississippi. As soon as she said that, and the fact that it rang true said I had done my job. She had a client facing foreclosure, and they needed speed. And you know what? I said, okay, let's set up a time. I want to go see the house. All right, let's come. Can you go tomorrow? We go to the house. I walk in. The sellers are both there. I wasn't prepared that was going to happen, but okay. And They're sitting at the kitchen table. I walk up and I shake their hands and I'm like, hey, how's it going? How's it going? My mom raised me right. And I'm sitting there and she puts her hand on my shoulder and she said, Teresa and Jerry, I remember these sellers, Teresa and Jerry, this is the lady I told you about. Listen to whatever she has to say. She's going to help us solve this problem for you. Let's sit down. Direct to seller has always been powerful. But please stop thinking agents are enemies. You want to know what? That agent cared about solving that problem for them too. And she knew that the MLS wasn't the only tool that could do that. So what? I trained them to treat me as someone on their team, a role on their team that is the ace in their back pocket to help their clients. Hey, if that doesn't work, I have this girl that I don't know how she does it, but she helps you. This agent did not understand subject to, but she trusted that I would, in their best interest, find a way to help solve their problem, and that's what I did. So as I wrap this up, by the way, that story was this house. So I wear this shirt, How You Do Real Estate Matters. It is critical to understand my model does not work if you do bad business. It doesn't. It just doesn't. Because I care. I tell agents all the time, I'll get you paid. And hey, they trust me enough to take care of their clients and to involve me in those transactions. But my phone rings off the hook, and guess what? I haven't kept up with the numbers. I knew at one point we had 6,000 agents in my market. So I could, for a full-time job, recruit agents. Thankfully, I don't have to. But I have a lot of opportunity to recruit them to go find sellers who have a problem and say, hey, this is the clear situations in which, call me. If I can help, call me. And they bring them to me, and we find a solution to help them. Here's some of your action items. Get a clear message, my friends. We buy houses is not enough. Find some allies to communicate that to. Start having conversations with them. Start having conversations, and remember, we're in a business of promises. We're in a business of promises. Again, don't cut around people. I'd love to continue this conversation. This is my Instagram. If you want to see what a day in the life of a solutions-based investor looks like, I'd love to continue the conversation. I've got multiple, so at Courtney Fricke on multiple platforms. Jim, I appreciate you. Some of you guys saw that I had a flyer on there. A 2-day workshop I'm doing. It was real hard for me to narrow this down to 45 minutes. But I hope you got something out of it. And this is a 2-day class. It's online, so you can join from anywhere. And I like to keep it affordable so that anyone can join as well. And, I meant to remove this. You see all these books up here? I pulled them from my library. Some of them are new. Some of them are loved. It might have my notes inside. They're going to be at the Chair the Love auction. And we have 14 tickets to this class being given away today at the Chair the auction. Please sign up to bid. So it was 15, except for we had a conversation before, and that conversation touched me so you were the 15th ticket. And so Allie, when they do the auction, she'll have some of these set up. But to end this out, and sorry I did go over a minute, Leon has a different quote, which I don't know what slide of yours it was, but I stole it. I guess I stole that one. He says that we start out in life seeking opportunities. And if we're honest, if we're trustworthy, and we're competent, opportunities begin to seek us. That is what I want to leave you guys with. Thank you so much today, y'all. Appreciate it.